finding your passion. I feel like there's this narrative that's heavily pushed that you should be trying to find your passion. After you find your passion, you know, you're gonna be happy and all this other stuff, and your life is gonna fall into place. And I've kind of come to a point where finding your passion doesn't exist. And hear me out.
The sun shines on all of my glory. My flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to Locs Lux Lifestyle. Welcome back to another video. So today I am here with another chit chat transparency talk video, and I'm super excited about today's video. So let's get right into it. I feel like I haven't done a real chit chat in a minute, so this was definitely long overdue. So all in all, I've said this in other videos, this year has been really good to me. It has been a great year so far, especially considering the last few years weren't the best. And yeah, this year has just really been about redemption. And if I had to choose a theme for this year that I have been noticing these last, it's August, 8 months, is that I have been learning to dream again. And that sounds so weird saying, but I have been learning to dream again. I will be 32 this year. I feel like dreaming is usually reserved for like children or teenagers, young adults. And somehow that transition to adulthood, it's like one day you can feel as optimistic as ever, and then before you know it, like all the optimism has gone out the door and life be lifing. I just didn't realize I had stopped dreaming, honestly. So this year, I feel like I have been learning to dream again in my 30s, and it just sounds so weird to say. So this video kind of came about because I am currently going through a bit of a career change. I graduated college almost 10 years ago. Like, that sounds crazy. I had plans after college. They didn't really go how I thought they would, and I pretty much entered the workforce after that, and I have been working consistently for the last 9 to 10 years. Even prior to that, I've been like, you know, working here and there since I was a teenager, but consistently I have been working for almost 10 years now. And I realized that this was the first time, I think, in my entire adult life that I really had the opportunity to figure out, like, what do you really want to do, right? And not it coming from a place of survival, not it being from a place of this is what's expected from me from my family, this is what's expected from me from society. Like, no, what do you truly want to do? Not what do you have to do, but what do you want to do? This whole just like career change experience, all of that, it made me realize like how much of my 20s I spent in survival mode, until like you come out of it and it's like I feel like I have like this new sense of agency over my life. As I was preparing my notes for this video, I immediately thought of the quote from Maya Angelou: "My mission in life is not to merely survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, compassion, humor, and style." And this process to getting to where I'm at now has definitely been a journey that did not happen overnight. And the reason I thought this quote was so significant is because I stumbled across this quote when I was about 27 years old. When I was 27, y'all, that's when adulting hit me hard, and I was struggling. I was at a place where I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I felt very empty. I felt very unfulfilled. I felt like I had no real direction. And when I found that quote, instantly I added it to my affirmation jar, and that quote became a big part of like my affirmation routine. And I remember reciting that quote regularly for years. As soon as I thought of the quote, I realized like how much that was starting to manifest in my life. And had you told me at that time when I first found the quote that I would be this self-assured now, I don't know if I would believe it. And so yes, I thought that quote was just very significant to me and to my own personal journey, because this level of just like peace and joy that I'm experiencing is far more rewarding than anything that I thought I ever wanted in life. So if you are in a place where you feel like you aren't dreaming, or you've stopped, or you want to start, I do have a few things that I want to talk about that has been helping me along this journey. So let's get into it. So first things first, you have to give yourself permission to dream. Once you've hit that place and you realize you are no longer dreaming and you desire to dream, then it's your responsibility to fix it. And an easy way to give yourself permission to dream again is just an easy affirmation, right? Something you can say every day. I give myself permission to dream, right? I give myself permission to dream fully. Very simple. Just start your morning every day. Look in the mirror and just say, I give myself permission to dream. You have to verbalize it. Once you verbalize it, you know, the whole psychological process will start, but you begin just by verbalizing it, acknowledging that you haven't been doing it and that you want to start doing it. Another easy way to help with giving yourself permission, a simple prayer. God, I thank you. God, I acknowledge that you are a limitless God. God, you have created me in your image and likeness. Lord, give me the tools that I need to live a limitless life that you have created. Your word says that you have a plan for me to prosper and not harm me. Start saying those type of things and start creating those habits and getting yourself in the right mindset to actually dream again. And if you are looking for some affirmations or some Bible scriptures for encouragement, don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, Relax, Rebuild, Restore. I do affirmations and Bible scriptures on that channel. I will link it up here as well as in the description box for you to go check out. Another way that I have been allowing myself to dream again is by embracing spontaneity. In a recent vlog, I told you guys that I have really been embracing and relishing in spontaneity this year, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've had such an enjoyable year thus far, is because when opportunities come, I just take them, okay? I don't need to figure out how it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, but if it's an opportunity, I'm jumping on it. That was important for me because, again, I've said it several times, I'm very practical, I'm very scheduled, I'm very routine. And for a while, I thought that that's just my upbringing, that's just how I am. But I had to realize that part of it was rooted in fear. You know, if you are realistic, then you can't get hit with the unexpected because you've already planned for it. But sometimes the unexpected is what you need to really push you into whatever it is to take you to the next level. So for me, a part of giving myself permission to dream again was embracing spontaneity. The next thing I had to work on is my gratitude. So I've mentioned before that I have a hard time celebrating myself. It's something that I'm still working through. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to me accomplishing things, when it comes to telling people about what I do, who I am, like, I have a hard time doing that. I've never really understood why. And for a long time, I felt like this issue was just rooted in me growing up shy. However, I recently had to be honest with myself, and I was like, could your reason and not celebrating yourself be that you are ungrateful, right? Because a lot of times in life, we are always so focused on what's gonna happen next. We are always focused on what we don't have. So when we accomplish certain things, when we make milestones, we don't really, at least for me, I had a hard time celebrating them because I was so focused on where I thought I should have been, where I thought I could have been. I spent so much time focusing on the future and what I didn't have that I was robbing myself of the accomplishments and the milestones that I was making in present time. And I feel like a lot of that was rooted in ungratefulness. And it's hard to say because I don't think anyone wants to come out and say, you know, I'm an ungrateful person. Like, no, on a conscious level, I don't consider myself an ungrateful person. But the reality is I was being ungrateful. And so part of learning to dream again, I had to realize that I was being ungrateful, and I had to start practicing more gratitude. I wouldn't say that I'm like a secretive person, but I am very protective over my dreams, my goals, and things like that, because I have experienced people discouraging me in certain things. So over the years, I have become very protective of those things. And so I'm learning, like, you can be protective of those things while still celebrating them. I recently had to write a biography about myself, and it was honestly the most uncomfortable thing that I have done in a while, and I kept putting it off and I kept putting it off. But once I actually wrote it, and I was just looking at it and I was like, man, I live a good life. You know, I am blessed, and I have to start being comfortable with saying that. And the more that I get comfortable with it, I feel like it puts me in a position to grow. It puts me in a position to be blessed further. A closed mouth don't get fed. We all have certain desires and dreams and goals, and when we protect them too much, you close off the potential of them growing and developing. And the reality is that we are creatures of habits. So if you can't get excited and celebrate the small wins, the milestones that you're accomplishing now, chances are, if and when you do accomplish those bigger things, they won't bring you that fulfillment. They won't bring you that joy that you think they are, because you haven't learned how to be grateful and celebrate those things. I think many of us have become very conditioned that the things that we have, the luxuries that we do have, they're just supposed to be there. We've just become so used to them that we don't realize how blessed and grateful we are for these different things within our lives. So when it comes to dreaming again, you got to start practicing gratitude for everything. Big, small, in between, good, bad, indifferent. Just start practicing and living a life of gratitude. So the next thing I want to talk about is passion. Finding your passion. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like there's this narrative that's heavily pushed that you should be trying to find your passion. After you find your passion, you know, you're gonna be happy and all this other stuff, and your life is gonna fall into place. And I've kind of come to a point, and this is just for me, you don't have to believe in this, but I've come to a point where finding your passion doesn't exist. And hear me out. When you take on this idea of finding your passion and you're using your passion to fix whatever it is in your life, you are tying your happiness to that passion. And a lot of the times the passion is tied to a specific career, a job, a title. And if your happiness is dependent on your passion and your passion is dependent on a certain job or title, once that job or title starts to change, then it's going to shift your passion. And if your passion gets shifted or changed, then it's going to affect your happiness. So I feel like trying to find your passion can't be the basis of your happiness. You can be passionate about things, but just because you're passionate about it, it doesn't have to be your passion. So what I've been working on is that instead of trying to find my passion, I've been learning how to lead with my gifts. So yeah, it's really crazy how life works, because this time last year, I think it was August of last year, I posted a transparency talk. I think I titled it like "My Life is a Mess," going through a transitional phase or something, and I was talking about how out of sync I felt, how I just felt like I was out of alignment, and how I just wanted to be effective. And so in the video, I specifically talked about spiritual gifts and how I was spending some time getting to know and develop my spiritual gifts. At the end of the day, I think everyone, we just want to feel loved, we want to feel valued, we want to be utilized properly. And this past year, I have really been working on not only developing my gifts, but actually using them. And the more that I lead and I use what my gifts, the more valuable I feel. I no longer look at like certain careers or titles as a validation. Because a lot of times we're looking for that validation through those titles and those careers. But when you lead with your gifts, it doesn't matter where you're at. You know that you are going to be useful. You know that you are valuable to whatever setting that you're in. And that's why I personally scaled back on trying to find my passion and instead just leading with my gifts. What I'm good at, I'm good at. And I don't care what nobody say, right? Because I got the validation that I need from the person who gave it to me. When you know you're good at something, when you know what you're good at, like, you know your worth and what value you add to any type of setting or environment, and no one can take that away from you. What you're good at, no one can take that away from you. And you don't need that validation to be good at something from a specific job, from a specific career, from a specific title. I honestly encourage people to start focusing more on just developing your overall gifts spiritual gifts specifically, and you leading with those. My mom recently told me just this week, she had came to me for some advice about something last week, and then when I was talking to her this week, like I said, I'm going through like some career changes. So she was like, you know, if all else fails, I think you should go back to school to become like a psychologist or a therapist. And I understand her gesture, but I also reminded her that I don't need the title of a therapist or a psychologist to encourage people, to give you good advice. And that's just something that I've really been embracing, just like using me to like the fullest capacity and letting my God-given gifts help navigate me through this world and bring me to the places that I'm intended to be. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is understanding and learning that some dreams are just meant to be an experience. Like I mentioned, many of us have been conditioned to feel like our dreams have to be tied to a certain title, to certain accomplishment, accolades, careers again. That's how we've been conditioned to envision our dreams. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those type of dreams, but more so is that the dream itself or the accomplishment itself shouldn't be the main source of your validation. Again, some dreams are truly just meant to be an experience. Some dreams you don't even have to be good at. Sometimes it's just meant for you to try it, to experience it, and take what you learn from that experience to move you forward in whatever direction your path leads you. And so I was on TikTok per usual, and this video came across my For You page. It was like a really small snippet from a podcast. I don't even know whose podcast it was, honestly. It was literally a short snippet. And so in the video, she was saying how for a while she felt like God had forgot about her, and how God gave her a word that many of my children want to be on display without being developed. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, drag me, because I instantly felt convicted. Like many of us, there was a long period of time where I felt like God had forgot about me. There were so many things that I had been working for, I just felt like I was doing everything right and nothing was working out, nothing was happening. Even here on my YouTube channel, I know I have a lot of new subscribers, but many of you don't know that I've had my YouTube channel for about 10 years now, maybe a little over 10 years now, and I've just now started to see the type of engagement that I have been wanting. And so I can definitely relate to feeling like, you know, God just, he forgot about me. Plain and simple, I have felt like God had forgot about me. And like she said, many of us, we want to be on display without being developed. And so a lot of the times, like I told you, sometimes these dreams, they're just experiences to help develop you. Everything is not meant to be the catalyst to bring you to your arrival moment. Sometimes it's just an experience that you experience, and you learn from that experience, and you take what you learned and you use it for your next level. Y'all not forgotten about, okay? That's first and foremost. But yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning, because it's honestly, it's crazy how God worked, because I do these chit chat videos, and this video in particular, a couple months now I've been sitting on this and I haven't like fully developed it. And it's like, as soon as it's time to record, God just give me everything I need to pull it together. But yes, I say all that to say, first of all, don't stop dreaming, y'all. You are never too old to stop dreaming. And okay, because I'm getting a little emotional. There's nothing, I done got real emotional the older I get. But yeah, just don't stop dreaming, you guys. I feel like part of the reason why I've become so passionate about like really living, really experiencing life to its full capacity, you know, taking hold of every opportunity that I have and doing it from a place of gratitude and joy, is because, okay, I'm getting a little off all over the place, but part of the reason I feel like many of us stop dreaming is because, for one, we don't see our elders dreaming anymore, and I feel like those same habits, they start to trickle down to us, to younger generations. And so I know for me, getting older was always scary. Getting older, especially as a woman, is always seen to be like, you're running out of time. And because we've been conditioned to think the older we get, we're running out of time, it hardens us. And it just made me realize like how many of us are not dreaming, and how many of us had certain dreams that we were unable to fulfill for whatever reasons, and how we get stuck in that, and we feel like it's too late, and it's never too late. And so for me, my own personal mission, I never want to sit in the idea that it's too late. As long as I have breath in my body, as long as that God has given me whatever he has given me, like I want to use it. I want to use it for him. I want to use it for the people around me. The more I learn about myself, the more that I try to also give that to the people in my life, to you guys here on YouTube or whoever's watching my video, but as well as the individuals in my life, the generation under me. They also know that they can continue to dream and do whatever they want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Every time I feel stuck, every time I think that something is impossible, I start to think about every little creation that we have in our life, everything that we use in our day-to-day lives. This camera, this ring light, everything was once an idea to somebody. And so if God has planted something in you, if you have the inclination to do something, just do it. Because you never know where that will take you. And sometimes I be mad at myself because I'm like, dang, why it take me this long to really like realize that and accept it? But you know, it's all a part of the journey and the process, and trust your process. But yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Snatched by Sharmel, and I will see you all in my next video.